There is a lot of conversation happening right now about off-market sales, private listings, right? So the question keeps coming up, when does it make sense to sell your home off market? I'm just going to pose this question. Who is it benefiting? And is it benefiting the right person? Because there are benefits of selling off market. There are benefits of selling in a full public market. And you have to really identify what the goal here is. And I think people mix it up. So there are certain homes that mass exposure to every conceivable buyer that exists will naturally get that seller more money. So if the seller needs to benefit from getting more money, you need to put it on the market. If that's what's important to the owner, if that's important to you. Now, there are cases where privacy becomes more important. Whether you're an athlete, a celebrity, or it's a personal situation going on, and privacy becomes more important, even more important than money, a private listing may make more sense. But then the question is, can you get more money for a house off market, not on the MLS, than you can publicly? And the answer is yes, you can, but not all homes. So it really depends on the home, and it's hard to pinpoint it down to exactly the type of home that's going to work for. But I can tell you, unique homes, high-end homes, especially luxury homes, that have a finite list of buyers that are findable, those buyers might pay more off market knowing it's not a public sale, it's not going to the market, or they don't have to get into a bidding war. They're more likely to accept the fact that they may have to pay full price of what that seller is looking for, or even more to take it off the market. So I've seen a lot of sales take place off market that I truly feel may have been as much as 10 to 15% above what it may get on the marketplace. And another example would be really, really high-end homes that may take a really long time to sell. And let's just talk about a $25 or $30 million home in an area where the average high-end home is closer to $10 million. So 2.5 times the high-end marketplace. So we're talking uber, super luxury type of properties. It may not benefit the home to be on the market for 12 months, 18 months, 2 years to find that right buyer. But if the right people know about it, that it's potentially for sale at a certain price, it may make sense to keep those off market. So there is no 100% rule that they all should go on the market. They all should be off market. You're going to get more off in a private listing. It's just never 100%. One way or the other. I think what it is important to do is sit down with a prominent agent in your marketplace that knows the benefits of off market and on market for that marketplace. And it's clear what the goal is on who is trying to benefit. Not the agent and not the company so they can sell it off market and keep it in-house. That's not a benefit. The benefit is the seller wants more money and you can get more money this way. The seller wants privacy and you get privacy this way. Or the seller wants exposure, or you as a homeowner wants exposure to make sure you get every dollar out of your home. So it's a tricky road to go down, but there's always one right way to do it. So to continue on this, there's some commonly asked questions about this. I'm just going to rapid fire through them. I'm going to read them right here. Why do some South Bay sellers prefer to sell off market, and when is that a mistake? They often will prefer to sell off market for one of two reasons. They want privacy, or they actually believe they may get more money off market than they do on market. And there are cases when that will happen. When is it a mistake? It's when a buyer for the home might be hard to find. And having full exposure to not only South Bay market buyers, Los Angeles buyers, global buyers that may step up and pay more money. So don't make the mistake that thinking off market is the best way. It's not always the best way. Number two, how much exposure are you really giving up by avoiding the MLS? You're giving up exposure by not using the MLS to a massive amount of buyers. Once it hits the MLS, it hits every internet portal out there, which means practically every human being that owns one of these is going to know that home is for sale. So when you need that kind of exposure, that's what you might be giving up. What you're limiting your exposure to is the agent you hire and who they can communicate to. How connected are they in that marketplace? How connected are they to a potential buyer that may want to buy that home? So you're limited to the quality of the agents you hire versus the MLS where you get everybody. And next question, are off-market buyers more likely to offer under asking? There are two types of off-market buyers I see every day. You have investors who are always trying to grind, get a better deal, offer under the asking price because it's all about profit. Then you have the other buyers that are owner users. They may pay more for an off-market property because no one else knows about it and they want to get that property before anybody else does, and they're willing to possibly pay full price for whatever the owner is asking because they know that if they don't, the sellers can go to the market, expose it, and they lose that opportunity to buy that home. When does off-market give you more control over pricing and timing? I think off-market gives you more control on pricing and timing when you have the right agent handling the transaction and exposing it to the right buyers and the right brokers. You can easily dictate your price and say, that's it, not negotiating it. If you want to buy it, that's the price. And so you can control pricing, you certainly can control timing. So to conclude, when you're selling your home, deciding to go off market or on market has its pros and cons. Make sure you sit down with your advisor, your real estate advisor, and discuss the true pros and cons for you, the pros and cons that benefit you or could hurt you before you make that final decision.